Love conquers all, and so does time. The intimate, soul searching conversations continue, where Venus's retrograde initially began on December 19th. Venus, if you remember, stationed retrograde in a conjunction with Pluto, thus setting the tone for the entire 40 days in the desert, thinking about what's important to us, what we desire, and how to make positive shifts in our relationships so that we can really have relationships that deeply nourish us and align with our core values. So here, Venus stationed direct. She's had the conjunction with Mars, and now they are strolling hand in hand to that very spot where this journey began. So there's going to be a sense of coming full circle here. So if you've had the deep conversations, the bearing of your soul, whether that is just like with a partner, with someone that you're really close with, or even just within yourself, of getting completely honest about what it is that you actually want. Because we as humans, we do this thing, especially when we're younger, where we sort of deny the things that we actually do want. Like, it's funny, like in our 20s, we're like, I don't know if I ever want to get married, or I don't know if I ever want to have kids. And then you turn 40 and you're like, yes, I absolutely want these things. So we do this thing where we sort of deny ourselves of the things that we actually truly want. And that could be in a lot of ways like cultural conditioning, where it's seen as selfish, or it's seen as lusty or hedonistic to really say yes wholeheartedly to the things that we actually crave. So Venus's conjunction to Pluto was a deep, probing investigation into what it is that you actually desire. What is it that you what turns you on? What does your heart really want? And Pluto can highlight things of vulnerability. So getting into that space of, yes, I do desire something else. I do desire something more. I do desire deeper connection. How do we get there? What is standing, how am I standing in my own way? How can I get out of my own way? But also, are there obstacles that we can strive to work through in my relationship? So Mars and Venus just started this whole new cycle in the sign of Capricorn. We're thinking core values. We're thinking about the long term. We're thinking about sustainable love, sustainable attraction, putting in the work into these relationships. I've had so many conversations with people in my personal life, with clients, about how we've had these really powerful shifts about how we need to put the time in our relationships. And the time is now. Speak up for what you want. Speak up about the things that concern you, because Venus very often is willing to brush things off to the side in order to keep the peace. But that retrograde, no, we brought it all out into the open to talk about. Mercury retrograde did the same thing. So here we have Mercury and Mars coming full circle. We want to talk about commitment. We want to talk about intimacy. We want to talk about how far we've come as a couple. There can be themes around healing. Pluto is cataclysmic. Pluto can really highlight some of the pain that we've experienced from heartbreak, some of the trauma that we've experienced in relationships, or even a separate trauma that sort of interferes in our ability to relax and allow and trust another human being in our safe space. So Pluto can certainly highlight those things. Maybe you're reaching a threshold where you realize, wow, we've made it this far. We've overcome so much as a couple, or I've overcome so much. Look at how much I'm able to say yes to the kind of connection that I desire. And maybe Pluto will highlight the journey ahead. The Pluto transformations take time. So I know personally, I'm just kind of reaching this point where I feel like, oh my God, my partner and I, our relationship began when both of us were going through our own separate turbulences. And so we didn't have that like euphoric falling in love stage at the beginning. We luckily had a long history as friends, which served as a great foundation. But I'm just now with this Venus Pluto stuff getting to a point where I'm like, wow, we can joke about this now. We made it. It's amazing. And Capricorn is a sign that deals with endurance, and it deals with patience, and it deals with putting in the time. And I think couples, especially people with who are busy with work or who have kids, we get so distracted, and often our partner comes last if you're stacking up children and career. And I mean, that's ideally temporary, but for how long? And so you do have to put the work in. And so, yeah, Venus Pluto is helping us to realize, is this worth it? And do I really want to? And so, yeah, Mars, Venus conjunct Pluto are going to highlight really strong intimacy themes, really strong trust themes, thinking about how committed we are to one another, how committed we are to our own personal healing journey, in the way that we embrace love, in the way that we connect, in the way that we relate, in the way that we say yes or no to certain dynamics. So this is another big one. And in many ways, it's going to highlight how we've come full circle, how we have shifted our perspective since Venus's retrograde began on the 19th. But this is definitely a very intimate time. And here's the thing. Every love story has those elements of complexity, and that's what enthralls us. That's what attracts us. So no one's story is going to be perfect. In fact, it's so common for couples to go through significant challenges at the early stages of their relationship or even later, because it can make you grow closer. So embrace the complexity, because complexity can be sexy. And so that's what Pluto wants you to know, is that, yeah, Pluto can make things very sexy. So this combination of Mars, Venus, Pluto, it can be very sexy. It can be very intimate. Maybe we're having more important dialogue. Maybe it's about showing up and doing the work and solidifying that, yes, we're doing this, or I'm doing this for me, or we're doing this for us, or whatever it may be. Because this could very well have more to do with your creative process. If you're not in a relationship, you're happily single, this could totally deal with other relationships. It could totally deal with your own creative process. So there's lots of ways that can show up. But yeah, you're deserving of love. And Pluto is going to highlight how far you've come to say yes to those things, or it's going to highlight the road ahead and the things that we still want to work on and shift. So that is your Mars, Venus, Pluto astrology shot of the day, and I hope it's fabulous for you. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning in with me today. For more astrology in your world, you can connect with me on all platforms at Astro Catherine. You can also check out my website, catherineurban.com, where you can book your year ahead reading, and we can see what 2022 has in store for you. Bye.